It's 20 classic rock bands that were formed in the 1960s. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Book. Remember, if you like this video, subscribe to our channel. All the links to supporting the channel are in the description. Number 20, Santana, formed in 1966 in San Francisco. In 1969, the world had never heard anything like it. A fusion of rock, blues, and Afro-Latin rhythms. It was Santana's blistering set at Woodstock, and it turned them into overnight legends. Led by Carlos Santana, the band's self-titled debut, featuring Evil Ways, introduced a new sound. Soulful, psychedelic, and rhythmically irresistible. Number 19, The Guess Who, formed in 1965 in Winnipeg, Canada. They may have started as a Canadian garage band, but by the late 60s, The Guess Who was crafting some of rock's most unforgettable songs. With Burton Cummings' powerhouse vocals and Randy Bachman's sharp guitar work, hits followed like These Eyes, No Time, and American Woman. Number 18, The Stooges, formed in 1967 in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Before punk was a name, The Stooges were living it with raw and dangerous energy and a frontman who redefined stage presence, Iggy Pop. They released The Stooges in 1969, packed with chaotic classics like I Want to Be Your Dog. They were too raw for mainstream success at the time, but their influence on music and specifically punk is immeasurable. Number 17, the Allman Brothers Band, formed in 1969 in Macon, Georgia. A new sound was brewing in the South, and the Allman Brothers Band perfected it. With Dwayne Allman's slide guitar magic and Greg Allman's soulful voice, their blend of rock, blues, and jazz would define Southern rock for decades. Their legendary 1971 Live at the Fillmore East set the gold standard for jam bands. Number 16, Creedence Clearwater Revival, formed in 1967 in California. They weren't from the South, but CCR's music felt like it was born in the banks of the Mississippi. John Fogerty's raspy voice and storytelling songwriting turned Proud Mary, Bad Moon Rising, and Fortunate Son into timeless classics. Number 15, The Byrds, formed in '64 in Los Angeles. They fuse folk and rock with stunning harmonies and jangly guitars, paving the way for folk rock and psychedelia. They rose to fame with their cover of Bob Dylan's Mr. Tambourine Man, hitting number 1 and kicking off the folk rock movement. Their chiming 12-string guitars and lush harmonies made them a standout act in the mid-'60s. Albums like Turn, Turn, Turn and Fifth Dimension expanded their sound into psychedelia, while Sweetheart of the Rodeo helped invent country rock. Though their lineup changed frequently, with key members like Roger McGuinn, David Crosby, and Graham Parsons passing through. Number 14, Deep Purple, formed in 1968 in London, England. They didn't just play hard rock, they defined it. With John Lord's classically influenced organ and Ritchie Blackmore's ferocious guitar, Deep Purple created epic rock anthems, Space Truckin', and Smoke on the Water. Number 13, The Velvet Underground, formed in 1964 in New York City. They didn't sell millions of records, but they influenced almost every alternative rock band that followed. The Velvet Underground, with Lou Reed's street poetry and John Cale's experimental edge, blurred the lines between art and rock. Number 12, Chicago, formed in 1967 in Chicago. They started as a jazz rock fusion band before shifting towards a more radio-friendly sound. Hits like Saturday in the Park, Does Anybody Really Know What Time It Is, Just You and Me, and Feeling Stronger Every Day. And the band had many lead singers, most notably Peter Cetera, Robert Lamb, and Terry Kath. Number 11, Crosby, Stills and Nash, formed in 1968 in Los Angeles. They didn't need distortion, just 3 voices that blended like magic. When Neil Young joined, they created folk rock masterpieces like Ohio and Helpless. Number 10, Fleetwood Mac, formed in 1967 in London, England. They started as a blues band, with Peter Green as the lead guitarist and more or less the leader. There were songs like Oh Well and Black Magic Woman. They had many incarnations, the most popular being the one featuring guitarist-vocalist Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. They joined, creating the White Album in the mid-'70s, but they became superstars when Rumors was released a few years later, featuring Go Your Own Way, Dreams, Don't Stop, and You Make Lovin' Fun. Number 9, Yes, formed in 1968 in London, England. They're pioneers of progressive rock, Yes, blended classical influences with rock, crafting grand, complex anthems. The big songs included Roundabout from the album Fragile in 1971. It's still considered one of the all-time prog rock classics. I've Seen All Good People from the Yes album in 71. Starship Trooper from the same record. Also on Fragile, Long Distance Runaround. Everyone Knows And You and I, plus the title song to Close to the Edge. They were another band with many incarnations. When Trevor Rabin joined the band, they created 90125 with the number one hit, Owner of a Lonely Heart. Number 8, Pink Floyd, formed in 1965 in London, England. Their journey from acid-fueled experimentalists to stadium rock gods was unparalleled. There were the early days with then-leader Syd Barrett, who seemingly lost his mind and became a recluse, being replaced by guitarist David Gilmour. Here's a band with a lot of big albums, but let's mention the two biggest ones. Dark Side of the Moon from 1973 and The Wall from the latter part of 1979. Number 7, Led Zeppelin, formed in 1968 in London, England. Heavy, bluesy, and mythical, Zeppelin changed the game. With Robert Plant's banshee wail and Jimmy Page's godlike guitar, they became legends. Their self-titled debut and its follow-up, Led Zeppelin 2, redefined what a rock album could be, setting new standards for heaviness and virtuosity. By the time Led Zeppelin 4 dropped in 71, featuring the epic Stairway to Heaven, they became the biggest band on the planet. Known for their bombastic live shows, occult imagery, and refusal to release singles. Led Zeppelin were one of those bands that owned the 70s. Number 6, Cream, rock's first true supergroup. Formed in 1966 by guitarist legend Eric Clapton, powerhouse drummer Ginger Baker, and vocalist bassist Jack Bruce. Fusing blues, psychedelics, and hard rock, they redefined what a trio could sound like. Loud, improvisational, and catchy as hell. Their second album, Disraeli Gears in 67, catapulted them to fame with the massive hit, Sunshine of Your Love. They followed it up with a double LP, Wheels of Fire, which featured White Room, and became the world's first platinum-selling double album. Despite their explosive chemistry on stage, internal tensions, especially between Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker, led to their breakup in 1968, after just 2 years. But in that short time, Cream laid the groundwork for hard rock and heavy metal, influencing countless bands that followed. Their legacy was cemented with a 1993 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction and a legendary 2005 reunion at London's Royal Albert Hall. Number 5, The Who, formed in 1964 in London, England. From smashing guitars to writing rock operas, The Who had no limits. Their anthems, like My Generation and Won't Get Fooled Again, still inspire rebellion. The classics include Baba O'Reilly from 1971 and the album Who's Next, My Generation in 65 from the album of the same name, from the rock opera Tommy, Pinball Wizard from 69, and Who Are You from the album of the same name in the late 70s, the last featuring their drummer, Keith Moon. Number 4, The Rolling Stones, formed in 1962 in London, England. Dirty, bluesy, and unstoppable. The Stones outlasted almost everyone. There was always Mick Jagger's swagger and Keith Richards' riffs. There you go. And that is the blueprint of rock and roll. When thinking about the Rolling Stones' biggest hits, or most popular songs in general, well, there are hundreds to choose from. But Satisfaction from 65 always makes the cut. Start Me Up in 1981. Painted Black, that was from 66. Brown Sugar, 1971. And the ballad Angie from 73. Number 3, The Doors, formed in 1965 in Los Angeles. Dark, poetic, and psychedelic, The Doors emerged from the LA rock scene with a sound like no other. Fronted by the enigmatic Jim Morrison, they dived deep into blues, jazz, and mysticism, creating timeless tracks like Riders, On the Storm, Break On Through, and Light My Fire. Number 2, The Beach Boys, formed in 1961 in California. Brian Wilson's genius turned surf rock into something orchestral and profound. The group truly captured the spirit of surf, sun, and youth with those gorgeous harmonies and tunes like Surfin' USA, California Girls, and I Get Around. But Wilson's ambition soon steered the group into more sophisticated territory, culminating in the groundbreaking 1966 album, Pet Sounds, a masterpiece of lush orchestration and emotional depth that influenced everyone from the Beatles to Radiohead. Number 1, The Beatles, formed in 1960 in Liverpool, England. They weren't just a band, they were a revolution. The Beatles transformed popular music forever, rising from Liverpool's gritty clubs to become the most influential band of all time. They exploded onto the world stage after the 1964 Ed Sullivan appearance. Please Please Me sparked Beatlemania with hits like She Loves You, I Want to Hold Your Hand. Their sound quickly evolved from catchy pop to groundbreaking artistry. With albums like Rubber Soul, Revolver, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the group started blending rock, classical, Indian, and avant-garde influences. They pushed the boundaries in songwriting and studio production. Though they disbanded in 1970, John, Paul, George, and Ringo's influence will live on forever. And there you have it, 10 bands that were formed in the 60s that changed music forever. Remember, if you want to support the channel, there are links in the description. You can make a donation via PayPal. Join our Patreon. There's loads of interviews on there that have not seen the light of day on YouTube. You'll get to see them first just for $6 and change on our Patreon. Buy a t-shirt at our swag store. We also have caps and hats and jackets. And remember, subscribe to our channel, share our videos, comment on them, and like them as well. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Book.